Well, hello and welcome to Travels with Geordie. If this is your first visit, my name is Peter Knowles and I live on a classic wooden motor cruiser in Victoria, British Columbia, along with the loving memory of my pup, Geordie. I'm not there right now. In fact, I'm cruising the Southern Gulf Islands. This is Pirates Cove on the Courcey Island, and I'm here aboard my friend's boat, MV Zephyrus, and we've just come from the haul out. In fact, you're going to watch the last episode of the haul out right now. I hope you enjoy. We'll catch up with the cruising videos really soon. This is really nice. A little pick one, take one pirate's chest for kids here. I really think that's fantastic. In the era of COVID, I suppose that's a little more complicated, but still. All right then, day, what are we at? 10. We saw yesterday we got first coat of topside paint on. Really pleased about that, and a little bit of the bottom paint, basically from here back. I have one coat on, and that's going really well. It's nice stuff, actually. I'll assemble a list of all the materials we use at some point. So today is more of the same, pretty much. Going to finish caulking the garboard, and because I have to get it paid, and this is where I come clean, I'm going to pay it again with Sikaflex 291. Yes, I am. Other than that, we'll get another coat of topside paint on as soon as this is dry enough that we can just put a keying bit of sanding on it, and that'll look great. I'm actually really pleased with the way the top sides look. Other than that, I think we're in really good shape. Let's get going. Yes, you are about to witness me putting the sinful Sikaflex 291 as paying for the garboard seam, and I'm thrilled with it, really. First, I dry out the seam as much as I can, although they're pretty good. And in she goes. A little bit of tooling. Yeah, don't worry, I'm going to explain in detail why I'm using the sinful product later, maybe. Well, hello, and it's day 11. Again, no, it's not day 11. It's, I don't even know what day it is, but I didn't have a day 11, so. As I mentioned, I'm changing out two through hulls. Here's the one that goes up into the head. It's going to be the mast route outlet. And we've opted to go with the very popular True Design composite ball valve through hulls and collars that make them ABYC compliant and apparently as tough as a bronze flanged through hull. So the merits of this are yet to be seen. I think it's probably fine. It certainly removes any concern about electrolysis corrosion. They're certainly a little less expensive. Anyway, it's the route we're taking. So unfortunately, the actual through hull is a tad short. I've had to go inside, outside, inside, as my assistant is off working elsewhere today. And I've determined that with the hull and the spacer block inside, by the time you put the nut on, you need a certain distance of thread, that's specified in metric, of course, so that it can gauge properly with the actual ball valve. So I'm going to have to dish a little bit out of the backing block in there, and that's more freehand hole saw work. Let's get on with it. Unhappily, in an effort to minimize the amount of tools left aboard, my hole saws have returned to the marina with the owner of Zephyrus today when she's at a meeting. So I'm going to have to mark this out roughly, because I don't mind if it's a little bit bigger, and chisel the whole shoot and match. I'm not sure I'll ever even show you this, because this is going to be moderately horrible. Okay then, after 4 rounds of cuts and radial cuts and some pretty miserable low angle chiseling amongst these hoses, I have a centimeter deep trough in there. Oh, that was not fun, I can tell you. And welcome to day 12. Well, it poured rain all day today, so we didn't get all that much done, but I'll show you just a little bit of what I was able to achieve. Okay, carrying on with this project, trying to restore the splash rails. I've just cut the ends off, which were just a rotten mess. I don't know what this wood is, but it is not teak and it is not mahogany. This piece of wood in my hand weighs about 10 pounds. It is some incredibly solid something, black walnut, I don't know. Anyway, it would be much easier to rebuild these in sapele mahogany, but the owner wants to retain them, and I appreciate that. So we're gonna see what we can do. Because both ends were desperately rotten, this is the aft end against the swim grid, I certainly have to sacrifice some of it. And so what I've decided to do, because the original fasteners were roughly 18 inches apart, in other words, every second frame, I'm going to abandon these holes because they're largely messed up and try to bung them, and put new fasteners in every 9 inches, which is every 18 inches, but just staggered by 9 inches. You see where I'm going here? There'll appear to be a fastener every 9 inches, except every second one will be the old abandoned one, and every other one will be a genuine new one that's going into the frame. And that means I just have to shorten it by 9 inches, right? Yeah. All right, with the ends cut off, I need to recreate this beautiful yachty looking end on here, and that's just going to be completely freehand with the planer. Okay, that'll do. Those are pretty much the same. So now we got to fill all these holes. Yikes. So first thing, got to dry these holes out a bit so I can clean them up and get some epoxy to stick in them. All right, so as the starboard rail has already been repaired with a scarfed in piece of teak, I think I might as well just epoxy these together and call it done. And that way I can deal with this as a whole. So most of the existing bungs are 5/8, so I'm not going to overbore them to 3/4. I'm just going to clean them up a little bit, and we'll put 5/8 bungs in them. There's a 1/2 inch, I'll deal with that separately. So just clean up all the 5/8. Half. I'd like to get the scarf epoxied, so I'm going to use some 407, which is not wood flour, but it's a reasonable thickener and it's relatively brown. And I'll use this to put in a few of the other bungs as well. Yeah, it's really starting to rain. Dang it, dang it, dang it, dang it, dang it. What you think of this technique? Drying it out while it's raining. Yeah. I'll cover it with my body. There we go. I wonder if this will make the epoxy kick. I think that's enough of heat gun. That's enough with that. Let's get this slathered all over here. And my good friends. Is that perfectly straight? No. Absolutely professional technique going here. And it's day 13, believe it or not. Launch day. Yesterday was almost a complete washout. Although you did see I was able to get the through hulls in, which was no small job, as well as get some work done on these rails, but we'll see how that advances today. So all we really have to do today is get the second coat of bottom paint on, put the ball valves on the seacocks, clean up the prop and stern gear, a couple of other little tidy ups, see if we can get the rails finished up enough to get them back on, but it's possible we may have to do that later. We launch at 3:30. We have our surveyor coming at 1. It'll be a pretty full day. Let's get on it. Okay, well, all the pads moved. Just a matter of repainting these little squares. Easy. We're launching in 15 minutes. We'll talk about the logic of this later. I gotta get rid of that. This is the idiot check. The surveyor's just been here. Everything seems to be good, which is fantastic. I think she's looking awesome. Just love it. So this is the idiot check. Things like making sure the hose doesn't hang over the edge, because they're coming with the travel lift in about 10 minutes. We're going to be staying on the dock here tonight, which is great because we still have a fair amount of cleaning up to do. Anyway, all good, all good, all good. So yeah, it's one of those times when you just make it. Doesn't that look awesome? With mere moments to go, the owner reminded me that I haven't put the scoop thing anti-scoop. Well, some people say they go on this way. They do not. They go on this way. You don't want to be scooping crud. You want it straight after all. Yes, we have had some rather annoying music from a neighbor boat today, and you know what? We're about to launch. We'll be done with it, but yeah. I want to send out a really big shout out to Vector Yacht Services. That's the yard we just finished the haul out at in Sydney, British Columbia, just in the top end of Saanich Peninsula in Victoria. Todd and his crew were just so generous to us and made just about everything about being there absolutely blissful. And when I say just about, it's because of course sanding and scraping is never blissful, but in terms of support and cheerfulness and getting us anything we needed, it was really, really great. This is our third haul out with them, and it's definitely our go-to place. Vector does all kinds of stuff. Of course, they do haul outs, but they're also a propeller specialist. They do inflatable repairs. They're a full yacht service yard. And in full transparency, Todd and his crew were generous with our bill, and they'd like to extend that generosity to you, the viewer. So look what they've given me to give to you. Yes, that's a gift certificate for $150 towards a haul out, which I'd like to offer, and Vector has asked me to offer to all of you. So as with everything else we give away, simply use the word, in this case, Vector. Vector in a comment down below, and I'll make sure that this $150 gift certificate gets to you. Now, I realize not everyone is nearby enough Sydney, British Columbia to be able to take advantage of this, but maybe you know someone here that you could gift it to, or someone nearby, or if you're cruising, put it in your back pocket. You never know, you might end up around here. I don't know if there's a time delay on it, but I bet there isn't. Anyway, so again, big shout out to Vector. Thanks so much for your help. We'll be back, and if you'd like a $150 gift certificate to Vector Yacht Services, use the word Vector in a comment down below. Good evening and welcome to the Scotch of the day. It's summer solstice and we are in a magical spot. We're calling this Scotch on the Rocks at the very tip of Pirates Cove on Courcey Island in the Southern Gulf Islands. And time like this is just so precious, so very precious. So we thought for summer solstice and for celebrating finally being done with the haul out, we'd finally crack into our peated Machnabara. This is, I think, going to be an extraordinary Scotch. It's actually from a local distiller here on Vancouver Island, right in Victoria, called Twa Dogs. It's also a brewery. We're very fond of their beer as well. And this is an award, or it's the other one.
Is it called Caledonian Brewery or something? Caledonian Distillery. The Twa Dogs is the beer.
Twa Dogs is the beer, Caledonian Distillery. Anyway, we're very excited about this, and we thought we'd share it with you on Solstice.
Excited. This is an award-winning company.
It is. They've done very well. All right then.
Griffin says, I don't know.
I'm not so sure, Griff. So cheers.
Cheers.
To summer solstice, to getting the boat back in the water, to going cruising. What do you think?
Happy Solstice 2020.
What solstice mean to you?
Oh my goodness. That has a whole new meaning now. Solstice is my favorite day of the year. It has been for a long time. Because it's the longest day of the year, and you really get 2 days in one because it's so long.
Pretty much.
And when you get weather like this for solstice, it's pretty amazing. And yet, solstice is a little bit bittersweet because you know that from here on in, the days are getting shorter.
Exactly.
So it's one of those precious moments that you just enjoy today as the longest day, and the fact that things are going to change. So enjoy the moment.
Certainly. Cheers to that.
Cheers.
I'm always up for more cheersing.
I think we hit it right.
Wow.
That's nice.
That's amazing.
It's amazing.
See you next week when you finally get to catch up with the actual cruising.
Oh, and the sun's just going behind the horizon there.
It is. And if you haven't guessed, the word of the day is solstice.
We should do this more often.
We're going to.